He never spoke a word in his most famous films, yet the world heard him louder than anyone. He wore a bowler hat, carried a cane, and shuffled like no one else. This is not just the story of an actor. This is the story of an artist, a survivor, and a revolutionary. This is Charlie Chaplin. A Childhood of Shadows. April 16th, 1889, London, England. A boy named Charles Spencer Chaplin was born into a world that showed him no mercy. His parents were both entertainers. His father, Charles Sr., a vocalist and actor. His mother, Hannah, a singer with dreams as delicate as her health. But by the time Charlie was just a toddler, his father had disappeared into alcoholism, and his mother's mental health began to crumble. By the age of 7, Charlie and his brother Sidney were in a workhouse, a grim institution for the poor. Charlie once said, "I was hardly aware of a crisis because we lived in a continual crisis." It was in these shadows that a performer was born. He mimicked people, told jokes, and danced for pennies. Through laughter, he survived. At age 9, he joined a clog dancing troupe. By 14, he was performing in stage plays, and by 19, he was one of Britain's finest young comedians. London to Hollywood. In 1913, Charlie sailed to America with Fred Karno's comedy troupe. While touring in the United States, he caught the eye of Mack Sennett, head of Keystone Studios, the place that shaped early American cinema. In 1914, Chaplin made his film debut. It wasn't long before he created the character that would become a global icon, the Tramp. With a tiny mustache, oversized shoes, a cane, and a heart full of hope, the Tramp was both a joke and a genius. By 1916, Chaplin was earning $10,000 a week, the highest paid actor in the world. But he didn't stop at acting. He wanted control. He began writing, directing, and even composing music for his films. These weren't just funny films, they were deeply emotional stories about poverty, love, and survival. In The Kid, Charlie protects an orphan. In The Gold Rush, he eats his own shoe to survive. And every time, he made us laugh and cry. Master of Silence. The world was moving on. Silent films were fading, but Chaplin, he held on. City Lights was released in 1931, a silent film in the age of sound. Yet it was a masterpiece. Chaplin proved you didn't need dialogue to touch souls. Then came Modern Times, 1936, a satire of industrial life. The Tramp struggles in a factory caught in the gears of modern machinery. And finally, The Great Dictator, 1940, his first true sound film. Chaplin parodied Adolf Hitler and gave the most famous speech in film history. It wasn't just a film, it was a warning to the world. Exile and return. But Chaplin's outspokenness came with consequences. In the 1950s, during America's Red Scare, Chaplin was accused of being a communist sympathizer. He was never a member of any party, but his criticism of capitalism made him a target. In 1952, while traveling to Europe, the US government revoked his re-entry permit. Exiled and heartbroken, Chaplin moved to Switzerland. He continued to make films like Limelight, 1952, and A King in New York, 1957. But the magic of Hollywood never returned. Yet even in silence, his legacy grew. Immortality. In 1972, after 20 years in exile, Chaplin returned to America to receive an honorary Oscar. The audience stood and clapped and cried for 12 straight minutes. In 1975, Queen Elizabeth II knighted him, Sir Charles Chaplin. And in 1977, on Christmas Day, he passed away peacefully in Switzerland. From a poor boy in the slums of London to the greatest silent actor in history, Charlie Chaplin's story is one of resilience, creativity, and heart. His films live on. His message endures. If you were inspired by Charlie Chaplin's story, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Which Chaplin film touched you the most? Thank you for watching.